Welcome back to the Top of Class Revision series. This is the Day 11 walkthrough, and today's topic is algebraic manipulation. So please have your booklet ready, and we'll start going through the answers. So our first question asks us just to expand a single set of brackets. All that means we're doing is we're taking this 4 on the outside, and we're multiplying it by 2x, which gives us 8x, and then we're multiplying our 4 by our negative 7, which gives us negative 28. So if we expand 4 bracket 2x minus 7, we get 8x minus 28. Our second question is another expansion question, just a little bit of a change there in the variables that we're using. So in this case, we're going to start by doing 3y times 6x. Well, 3 times 6 is 18, and then when we're multiplying x by y, we just do x, y. I like to write my terms in alphabetical order because then it allows us to see like terms a little bit easier. If we then multiply our 3y by our positive 5y squared, well, 3 times 5 is 15, and y times y squared is y cubed. Now this question asks us to expand and simplify. In this context, simplify means we're going to collect like terms. So after we've expanded the brackets, we're going to collect our like terms. So we're going to start by multiplying our 2 into our first bracket. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 6 is 12. Now the next one we're multiplying our 4 in, but it's not 4 that we're multiplying. Remember, we have to use the sign to the left, so it's negative 4. So negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x, and negative 4 times 9 is negative 36. Collecting our like terms then, we've got our 2x and subtract 8x, so that's minus 6x. And then we've got a positive 2 here and a negative 36 here, so that gives us negative 34. So remember, in this context, simplify can mean different things, but in this context it means we collect our like terms at the end and we finish with an answer of minus 6x minus 34. Now this third one asks us to expand and simplify again. We've got 2 brackets, but the difference is the 2 brackets are connected here, meaning we're multiplying everything in the first bracket by everything in the second bracket. Now there's a couple of different methods to do this question. What we're going to use for this one is we're going to use the grid method. So we're going to say 2x plus 5, and then on the side we're going to have x minus 3. And we're multiplying each of these by each other. So because we had 2 terms in the first bracket and 2 terms in the second bracket, we'll end up with 4 terms at the end. So starting off, 2x times x is 2x squared. X times 5 is plus 5x. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. And then finally, negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. Now again, we have to collect our like terms here. So if we list out all the values we've just worked out, so 2x squared plus 5x minus 6x minus 15. And then you can see our 2 middle terms here are like terms. So we can collect those and we end up with 2x squared. 5 take away 6 is minus 1x, and then minus 15. So when we expand and simplify those brackets, we get 2x squared minus 1x minus 15. Now in this question we've got double brackets again. The 2 brackets are connected. There's just some more variables, so there's y's in this one that there wasn't in the last question. Now we're going to use a slightly different method for this one. We could use the grid method if we wanted, but just to show you the 2 different methods, we're going to use a different one here. So we're going to start with this 2x. I'm going to multiply 2x by everything in the second bracket. So first, 2x times 5x is 10x squared. 2x times minus 2y is minus 4xy. Then we're going to multiply our 3y by everything in the other bracket. So 3y times 5x is plus 15xy. And then 3y times minus 2y is minus 6y squared. And this is why I like to write my variables in alphabetical order, because now we can see that these are both like terms. And because they're like terms, we can collect them together, and we get 10x squared minus 4xy plus 15xy, or we can flip those around, 15xy take away 4xy, gives us 11xy, and then finally we get minus 6y squared. Again, the order of our terms don't matter at the end, but we just have to make sure that we have the correct signs in front of the correct term. So the final answer to this one is 10x squared plus 11xy minus 6y squared. Now our next question is asked to expand and simplify, but this time we have 3 brackets. So when we expand triple brackets, very simply we start by expanding any 2 brackets. So we can start with expanding any 2 of the brackets, it's our choice. And then we're going to multiply or expand the result with the final bracket. So I'm going to leave this one till the very end because it's got a z in there, so it could complicate things. So we're going to start by just expanding our first 2 brackets. Again, I'll just do it over here on the side just to make it a little bit tidier. So 2x plus 3 and 3x minus 1. I'll use the same method I used the last time. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times negative 1 is minus 2x. 3 times 3x is plus 9x. And then 3 times minus 1 is minus 3. Simplifying this, collecting our like terms, gives us 6x squared. 9 take away 2, or minus 2 plus 9, is 7x. And then our minus 3 on the end. So that's our first step. Now we're going to multiply this by our remaining bracket, our x plus z. Now I like to put our x plus z at the start, it just tidies things up a little bit. And then we expand this in. I'm not going to draw my arrows here because it might get a bit confusing. Remember, I'm multiplying my x by all of those terms. That gives me 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 3x. And then I'm going to multiply my z by all of those terms, which is plus 6x squared z plus 7xz minus 3z. Now as we look at those, none of those are like terms because none of them are exactly the same letters. So my final answer is this whole thing here. 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 3x plus 6x squared z plus 7xz minus 3z. Now the second skill in today's topic is factorising. And factorising, if we're asked to factorise, is to put into brackets. So when you're asked to factorise, you're going to put it into brackets. Essentially, it's the opposite of expanding. So we have to think, what can we divide both terms? What can we divide 6x and 12 by? Well, both of those can be divided by 6. So we can take our 6 on the outside, and inside we're left with x plus 2. Just to check, 6 times x does give us 6x, and 6 times 2 gives us 12. So we know that we're correct on this one. Now this question looks similar to the last one, but instead of saying factorise, it's factorise fully. Now factorise, as we said, means put into brackets. Fully means using the highest common factor. So we have to take the biggest thing possible out of all of those. So if we look at these and compare them, we've got our 8 and our 20. Well, 4 can divide both of those. Then comparing our x's, well, we have an x squared here and an x here. So we can divide both of those by x. And then we've got a y here and a y squared here. So we can take y out of both of those as well. Now if we think, well, what do we multiply 4xy by to get 8x squared y? Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2. X squared divided by x just gives me an x left. And then obviously the y's have cancelled out. Then negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5. X divided by x, they just cancel out, gives us 1. Y squared divided by y gives us y. And we haven't taken the z out. So our final answer to this question is 4xy bracket 2x minus 5yz. Now we could have factorised this by just taking out 4 or just taking out 4x or just taking out 4y or even just taking out 2x or 2xy. There's lots of different things we could take out. Factorising fully means we have to take out this 4xy. So we have to take out everything that can be possibly taken out of both of those terms. Now this question, because we've got an x squared term, and then we've got this number. Now particularly this number is a square number. Okay, 64 is 8 squared. This is what we call the difference of squares. Remember, difference means subtract. So it's something squared minus something squared, and then we can do this. So what we're going to have is two brackets, like we had with our quadratics. We have x plus 8 and x minus 8. So we'll always have the square root of the first term. So this is the square root of x squared. This is the square root of x squared. And then the second number is the square root of 64. And this one is the square root of 64. The only difference between the two brackets is that in the first one we have a plus, and in the second one we have a minus. But if you do them the other way around, put minus in the first one, x plus in the second one, that's absolutely fine as well. Okay, this one looks similar to the last one, 9x squared minus 49. Again, this is a difference of squares again, and the reason we know that is because 9 is a square number. So we can have our two brackets. The square root of 9x squared is 3x, and the square root of 49 is 7. So 3x plus 7, 3x minus 7. Very quick and easy to do those once we recognize them. So 9x squared minus 49 factorized is 3x plus 7, 3x minus 7. So once again, we've got another difference of squares questions here. However, we're asked in this case to factorize fully. Now remember, when we factorize fully, we take out the highest common factor. So in this case, we can factorize 4 out of both of those numbers. Okay, 64 divided by 4 is 16x squared, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. Now inside our brackets, we still have the difference of square because 16 and 25 are both square numbers. So we can finish with 4 bracket 4x minus 5 and 4x plus 5. Or again, your plus and minus can be the other way around. So keep an eye out for that word fully, because that normally means the first step you have to do is take out the highest common factor and then proceed in whatever way, method is appropriate. Okay, and the final question here comes with a hint. It said to factorize the numerator and denominator first and then cancel. So let's do that. So on the top, we've got a quadratic, which we saw in an earlier video. Okay, we need two numbers that multiply to make 5 and add to make 6. Well, that's just going to be x plus 5 and x plus 1, because 5 times 1 is 5 and 5 plus 1 is 6. On the bottom, we've got another one of those difference of squares. So if we factorize that, we get x plus 5, x minus 5. So now we factorize the numerator and the denominator, and it tells us to cancel. Well, we can see on the top we've got an x plus 5, and on the bottom we've got an x plus 5. So they can just cancel each other out, and our final answer is x plus 1 divided by x minus 5. Now don't make the common mistake that people make here, which is they start cancelling the x's. That can't be simplified anymore. It's only when they're in brackets that if they match exactly you can cancel them down. So our final answer in this case is x plus 1 over x minus 5. As always, I hope you found this video useful, and we'll see you in the next video, or you can click below to see the full playlist.